What's up? Welcome, guys. Steve Mayeda with the TSL podcast. And this is a podcast that's a clip from Ed Aiken from Fight Fast and Flee. And man, we get pretty real in it. The entire interview with Ed is actually 2 hours. This is just a short, under 10-minute clip. But man, what we talk about here is actually his experience with learning under Paul Vunak, the SEAL Team 6 trainer in Virginia Beach, who went on to be one of the best street fighting tactical fighters of all time. And, I'm just going to warn you, we hear Ed talk about some really intense things about how he developed that true killer instinct of when you're put in a position where it's truly life or death and you have to make that decision to turn it on, to fight, to end it, and take it to that next level. One of the reasons why we bring you podcasts like this at TSL is because we always hear the story of the warrior. We always hear the story of the hero. But to truly be that man that is responsible enough to take that and evolve to become that man with that mentality, there's a heavy, heavy responsibility and experience that comes with it. This is what it's about. Check out Ed Aiken, fightfastandflee.com. Awesome stuff. He's also got a 21 convention speech. And also, don't forget, go to thesexuallife.com. Better your life. Sign up for the newsletter. Man, it's just going to change you as a man.
Well, I was fortunate to train with Vunak at a time where he was just done with his stint of teaching SEAL Team 6. And so, you have to imagine these guys were actually not only using it, in the field, they were going out in the bars and perfecting it in Virginia Beach. There's a lot of field testing there. And so even from the time where he went in and he was fighting before that to the time where he came out, it evolved. And it evolved because basically, so these are guys who are saying, look, I tried this, this, and this, are actually experiencing it and getting the feedback. That's how you do it. You have to let reality be your feedback mechanism. It can't just be conjecture, and it can't just be like a couple sparring matches. At some point, you've got to simulate it as hardcore as you can. And that's not for everybody. But if you're serious about, I was serious about it because I used to get my ass beat every day. I was like, no, I'm going to fucking learn how to fight. I've got to do this because it left such a damage in my self-image that I was like, no, I'm going to fucking go back. I'm going to find those guys. I'm going to beat the fuck out of them. But I'm going to know what I'm doing before I do that, right? That's my motivation. It took me a long time to turn the tide, basically, of fighting. And so, I did it out of a need of basically getting my ass kicked every day. And so I would go and learn this shitty karate. And then what happens is you take a break from getting beat up. You're kind of quiet, but at night you're begging your mom, take me to this class because you want to go back and you want to redeem yourself. And so what happens is you go and then you try your karate, and then your ass beating is 10 times worse because now they're pissed that you're trying some karate shit on them. And so it took me a long time to, it's like, and you throw that kick, they're like, oh, this is new, little fucker. Like, really, you tried to karate kick, and then they beat your ass, so it's not, it took a long time.
I want to hear those stories.
Yeah, but there was a point. So, by the time I had trained in a lot of different stuff before I found Vunak, and there was a period where, I was getting in a fight still, and at this time he was pretty much telling me to do that because that's how you learn. And he always told me, he's like, look, don't, the guys that you're fighting now aren't the real guys. He goes, you can't train for them. They're fucking nothing. He's like, you're smaller guy, Ed, you're skinnier, but, these aren't the guys that you're training for. You have to train for the guy who spent his life in prison. He's got you in an alley, and he's going to fucking rape you. He's going to kill you and rape your corpse. He's like, you have to have that in your head. And he's, He's like, until you get that in your mind, you're deadly serious, and you can train yourself to where when you make that entry, you have that in the back of your mind where I've got to take this guy out or he's going to fuck my eye socket, right? That's when I took that to heart, and I really said, okay, because there's a strategy. You don't just go Hibachi. You've got to keep a cool head in a street fight. When you're in long range, even though you don't have 5 minutes, you've got to relax. You've got to keep your peripheral vision open, because that's where danger comes from, right? If you're starting in a longer distance, you've got to relax. You've got to do your pot shotting, because we always equated it to that 6'5", 320-pound dude who fucking killed people on a daily basis in prison. So you don't want to rush in on it. You don't want to exchange blows with that guy. One shot from him will kill you. So in order for me to take that guy out, I've got to get in with my heavy tools, which are the headbutts, knees, and elbows, and I want to get in unscathed. So there is strategy involved, but it's a little bit different. But once you make that commitment to go and do this, you've got to go 100%. And that's where you've got to develop your tools to where, we give you a concussion through the fucking helmet because we spent years just like that scared image, and all the adrenaline comes out in that one technique. So when I took that to heart, and then I really started putting the emotional content into my entries, and really taking it like just 100% of yourself, like I'm giving all or nothing. If I fail, I'm going to die. So if you have that inside of you, which is great for anything, and you're able to turn that on, and then let's say your past fucks up, you're able to turn it back off. When I was able to do that, what I saw was in my fights, they didn't last but a couple seconds. When the moment I'd hit them the first time, the guys dropped. Whereas before, there would be an exchange. There would be me hitting them, they're throwing off. I'd get hit a couple times. Maybe I'd have to get out of there. But there was a changing point where there was no damage taken on my part because the guys were out. They were just that emotional part of me was switched on, and at that same time, I would say you black out. You don't remember it, and you come back to, and the guy's on the ground. You're like, all right, you get out of there. So it's the mental side of where you can really tap into that. And I think it was, to teach somebody how to do it, you can simulate it, but you've got to get somebody who gets in your head in a way, like Vunak was very good at that, to really pull that serious image out of you to where, look, man, this is all or nothing, and you have to treat it as all or nothing. If you're not 100% committed, get the fuck out of here. Don't waste your time, because you're going to get killed in the alley, and you have to. And I was already serious about it, but I was never that serious to where, like, I don't give a fuck if I kill this guy. When I make my entry, I am taking him out, and that's what you have to come to terms with. So it was at that point that my fights changed too. Like, I just, when that happened and I took the guys out, as the guys got bigger, they dropped just as fast. So I started proving to myself, like, holy shit, this stuff is for real, because I'm getting in worse and worse situations, but I'm coming out unscathed. And there were times where I should have been, fucking raped in a back alley, and it saved my ass.
So like I said, some pretty intense stuff there, but we need to have that understanding and that reality of those senses of masculinity, those senses of being a human being and being in those situations and transcending to that different spot, that different mentality of fighting and intensity that Ed is talking about. Check out his site, Fight Fast and Flee. Sign up on the newsletter, get his product. It's actually really good. There's a little bit of me actually featured in there. And don't forget, go to thesexuallife.com. Better your life. This is about evolving you as a person and making that choice to move in the direction that you are living in the best life possible. Resources, articles, tons of stuff there to help you out. Sign up on the newsletter, and let's live that social dynamic to be the better man.